about lunch or whatever. Uh, Anybody who was waiting to bet me lunch about the possible impeachment of Donald J. Trump, you might be owing me a huge lunch. I tell you that. Anybody who was waiting to bet me lunch, there you go. About the possible. There we go. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Um, I just want you all to know that Larry, I'm sorry there's no audio. Hopefully it's linked up right there, ready to rock and roll. Thank you, Mary. I hope I am looking sharp tonight. I'm trying to get past the muster of my wife. She says I have to act differently because there are changes coming and I need to look more mature. I need to look like I am with it. And so I'm working on it at this particular juncture. I read I'm gonna tell you the testimony that was really missed today was the testimony of the father and mother of the young man, the border patrol officer who was killed in Arizona because of Fast and Furious. That should have been the top story of the day, and what came out of that particular um, testimony today was that the DOJ under President Obama and Eric Holder did absolutely nothing to really investigate that matter. In fact, they infuriated it by encouraging the shipment of weapons illegally into uh, Mexico. And those weapons were later used against our own um, firearms, I'm sorry, police officers and others, and as well as drug crimes in Mexico. That was the one that you should have been watching, should have been listening to, but no, you wanted to listen to Comey tell you that no, nothing really happened the way you all are preaching that it happened, and there's no obstruction of justice. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want all the money that the taxpayers have spent on that investigation returned to us from the Democrats. They should be responsible for paying that back to us. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we do at this particular hour of the night. And of course, later on, we will have Lonnie Poindexter, Ralph J. Chittams Sr., and Shannon Wright back to back to back on our program. But what we do at this particular hour of the night is we let our kids take full control. They lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's let them go right here. Put your right hand over your heart. For those watching via live stream, big flag here. Behind me, big flags. Ladies and gentlemen, Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America. Take it away, kids. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. You should let your kids do that before they leave home. I'm just saying. May not happen for them when they get to where they're going. Um, Certainly not if they go to an NBA game. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than the beautiful and the vivacious Shataa Whittle, who will be joining us in just a few here. There we go.
Hello.
Good evening, Miss Whittle. Welcome to the Exceptional Conservative Show again. So glad to have you.
Ken, how are you?
Just fine, just fine.
Glad to be here.
It's great to have you always here. Listen, there are people in our city who look at statistics like this and they are completely floored. They cannot conceive what you're getting ready to talk about tonight. The median home value, just the home value. We ain't talking about what the prices are. The home value in Washington D.C. is $558,500, which is up over 10% from the past year, which is working out to somewhere in the area about $504 per square foot in Washington, D.C. In addition to that, although interest rates are low, the average credit score most people need to get a very good interest rate is over 700. Uh, and if you're moving to areas of Washington, D.C., first and foremost, most of them who are doing your financing want to see your income above 105,000, which is the poverty line for Washington, D.C. And then you got areas like Eckington, where prices are 596.8, Bloomingdale 743,005, Shaw
Minimum.
minimum. And you know, you and I both know because we grew up in Washington, where Shaw used to be. I mean, you could pick up a Shaw property for $50. Now you got to spend nearly $700,000 to get a home in Shaw. So when people are listening to you tonight, as you are a real estate guru, Shataa, they're under the impression that all of this stuff is mumbo jumbo and impossible to believe. There is no way in Hades that I could possibly afford to buy a home in Washington, D.C. What say you, ma'am?
Well, that everything you've just laid out is definitely true. However, in everything, there are exceptions to the normal.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. I am currently in the process of helping about 6 new home buyers use this first-time home buyer program. It's given through a local bank, and they're offering various incentives for first-time homeowners. Or people who are in the market looking to purchase property. Now, the difference between some of the local grants that are out there and these incentives are they don't have to pay them back. So that is a plus.
Okay, whoa. Okay. Are you saying that a bank is going to give you money to buy a home?
They are giving away great incentives. Yes. To help with the cost, closing costs and various other cost items, line items that will be on the statement, the closing disclosure settlement. So yes, they are.
Wow.
And the only thing you need is to be a first-time home buyer. You can use the program, use these incentives anywhere in D.C., in Maryland, or Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah. You just need a 660 credit score.
Okay.
Now, the clients that I've been helping, currently we are in escrow, and they've only had to put up $595.
Oh, wow. Yes. Wow.
$595.
Oh.
And here's the good part. Here's the kicker. There's no PMI.
No, you got to be kidding.
I repeat, conventional product offers all this with no PMI.
Okay, so this is a conventional loan.
Yes, it is a conventional product, and my clients are not paying PMI.
Oh. Now, Shataa, we haven't seen this since 2006 and 7, okay?
Absolutely, yes, that's correct.
So there's someone listening to us tonight, and they're saying...
The rates are fixed. One of the couple other things, the rates are fixed. So you don't have to worry about, is it going to be this rotating, arm. The rates, you can get a fixed rate, which is a great thing. And and they are the rates are competitive. It's not like they'll be paying 6 or 7%, nothing astronomical. The rates are very competitive with all of the local lenders are offering. And it has really been something great that my clients are experiencing at this moment. And I am excited for them.
Oh, well, you should.
As well as for any home buyers out there who were kind of looking for something to help them to purchase their first home. And this is definitely a great product.
Tremendous. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be right back after this break, and we're going to talk with Shataa Whittle, our real estate guru, about what it takes to get into your new home. You can do it. You can do it. We'll be right back.
With home values up and interest rates near all-time lows, you probably know that now is a great time to refinance, like the Johnsons, who save $436 a month.
$436 a month?
It's simple. Just go to LendingTree.com, compare loan offers for free, and see how much you could save in just 5 minutes.
I thought you said the bank gave you the best rate.
Yeah.
Lending Tree. When banks compete, you win.
I have to do everything myself.
Someone is sleeping on the couch tonight.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We have a brand new show on at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We are bound to make you think. We are bound to make you see things differently. We are bound to push you into action for not only your community, but your country. That's The Willie Lawson Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. See you there. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being here tonight at the exceptionalconservativeshow.com. We've been on for 8 years and rolling as we get ready to go to internet TV. And we have with us tonight a very good friend, a neighbor, and a superstar in real estate here in Washington, D.C., Ms. Shataa Whittle. She is certainly a guru of real estate, and she and I have been in that particular field for a while. I on the side of counseling individuals to purchase homes, and she on the other side of making certain that they got in them. Now, first and foremost, what is your motivation behind doing this, Shataa? I mean, it could be you don't have to do this. You should be working with people who have credit scores like 800. You know what I'm saying? Why are you motivated to work with people who have credit scores of 660 can only afford 595 down?
It is when I was 18, turning 19 when I bought my first house, and that was an experience that I was happy. I was very proud of it. While doing it, I'm still in my home today. And I'm just happy when I hear about programs that allow people to get into them that may not have opportunity, if it weren't for that particular program. Like $600 to put down is wonderful. I mean, it really helps people to save money going in, and it really helps people to just appreciate the opportunity, especially if you can use it in DC where the market is very competitive. Certain parts of Virginia, the markets are very competitive, meaning price-wise, as well as a lot of people are looking, low inventory. And so sometimes if you just have that extra little push or something to say, hey, it is possible. It's not impossible. It is possible. I love being able to share news that would help people's dreams to come true.
Exactly. Listen, they're getting ready in the House tomorrow to vote on a bill to repeal Dodd-Frank. You know that one of the great pains of Dodd-Frank was it shut down lending. A lot of people don't want to talk about that because they want to talk about how they were stopping Wall Street from taking advantage of the Main Streeters. But the bottom line was Main Streeters were not getting money at all to buy homes or cars or things. And so why would this local bank be motivated now to do something that they really don't have to do?
Right. I am speaking with them, speaking with the lender that I work with, and they are really have a desire to build communities. It's really a community outreach program. And that's another thing that's very inspiring to ensure that, that everyone has the opportunity. Once you kind of relax the restrictions a little bit, it definitely allows the opportunity to allow a whole new set of people to come in to partake of this great American dream of home ownership. So this is a lot of their motivation in sharing with me, speaking with the lender. And I'm just happy to be able to be a part of it.
Okay. So there are people, and you know that this is the season that people go out, and they start. They don't listen to you. They don't listen to me. They see a sign and they go. They get out of their car and they go in and they're ready to buy a home. Can you please talk with us tonight about what does it take to prudently buy a first home?
Well, you definitely want to be educated. You want to be educated on the market. You want to be educated in the process. You want to make sure that you have someone representing your interests in this process. You have to remember this is a 30-year investment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you can get out of it. It's not like buying a car, saying, you know what, I don't like this car, take it back after a year. It's nothing like that. It is an investment that you will be responsible for paying for the next 30 years. So you want to be as knowledgeable about the process as possible. You have to remember that when you go and knock on that door with a sign in the yard, that particular person is being represented by an agent,
Mm-hmm.
like myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we are knowledgeable of the marketplace. Now, you also have to remember that that agent, when you call them, they're working for the seller. They already have a client that they're working for.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't properly provide you with the correct, or I would say 100% sound judgment in your favor because they already have someone that they're working with. So you have to be sure that you have someone on your side, someone that is advocating for you. I often equate it to you walking into a courtroom without a lawyer.
Yeah.
Nobody does that in this day and time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand where you're at, the process, so that you can be properly informed to make the very best decisions possible for you.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's some people listening tonight saying, you know, Shataa, I may have some down payment money, but 660, wow, that's a score. How do you get 660? I mean, what do I have to do to get ready to buy a home if my credit scores may be at 600?
Well, you definitely want to have it evaluated by someone that's within the industry. Either your real estate agent, which would be myself, I can evaluate that, or you can, you know about credit evaluations
Mm-hmm.
to prepare borrowers, have a lender to review it. You always want to watch your debt to income ratios because that can certainly lower your score. You want to make sure that you're not overspending, on a lot of debt
Mm-hmm.
itself, because if you are, then that will hinder your amount to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a car note already, then don't get one. Buy your house first.
There you go.
Because if you buy your house, you buy the car, that's going to be considered debt. And once you have your debt to income evaluated, that could hinder how much you can purchase, home you can buy. So you always want to make sure that your debts are low, that you're paying current on your debt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with a young lady right now through the program in which, she does have a judgment,
Mm-hmm.
but the program is going to allow her to pay it off. As long as it's paid off prior to settlement, then she can still get the loan because she still has the minimum credit score.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have your credit evaluated. Don't just count yourself out, because there are ways to get your score up. There are things that you can do, little small things to tweak it that I've assisted my clients doing
Mm-hmm.
that have helped to increase their score. Some people it may take a little bit longer because it depends on where you're at, but always have it evaluated by someone that know what to look for and ways to improve your score. Mainly your lender. Your lender should be able to tell you. Like my lender I work with through this program,
Yes.
he's able to let them know or give them some insight. Hey, you need to do this. This could be hurting you. You may want to take a look at this to reevaluate that. But the biggest thing. Go ahead.
Wait a minute, Shataa. Wait a minute. I saw that house for sale this weekend, or at least coming up this weekend. I'm going to see that house for sale. It just went on the market. I saw it. It went bing. and it's on the market. And if I don't put something down, if I don't do something now, somebody's going to take my house. How do you deal with that philosophy?
Well, right now it is definitely getting more competitive. I'm seeing like multiple offers on homes all the time. Clients that I list their houses for sale, I'm receiving multiple offers, and even the buyers that I'm representing, when we are presenting our offer, there are multiple offers that are being put on the property as well. The way I typically position my clients to deal with that, I mean, we can do the property right away. As soon as it hits the market, for me, I mean, if you can get there, I can get there, because the sooner we can view it, the better position you are as the buyer to be able to get in, to try to get an answer on the property. The other way that I position us to be strong is, you know, all of my buyers, I've already submitted them to my lender guy that I partner with, I work with, and typically, you know, they have a direct underwriting approval. Those types of things help to position buyers a lot stronger than the average pre-approval letter.
Exactly.
So that all of those things matter, and so I try to position my clients in a way where the sellers just can't say no.
Exactly. You know, in our industry that I was in, and you are currently in, there were so many people who, I mean, they were acting like, if I don't do it right now, it ain't going to get done. And that may not necessarily be the best philosophy in terms of purchasing a first home. Just like, and this next question for you, and I know it might be problematic for those who are listening, saying, hey, how dare you question this? But those individuals that get out of the car and say, it needs to have a swimming pool, we have to have 5 bedrooms, it has to have 3 baths, a sauna, a hot tub, and if that's not there, how can that be my first home? How do you deal with that philosophy?
Well, what I typically do, of course, we work with the numbers. Whatever your approval rates are, your approval numbers are, that's just what they are. For some, it may allow the first home to have all of those great amenities in it. For some, it may not. For those who find themselves not able to get 20 out of 20 things, what I try to do is to have them to highlight the must-haves. I call them the must-haves.
Yes.
Because what the must-haves do is it keeps us focused doing searches. It keeps us focused on the very important things that you identify that are most important to you. So, for example, I mean, if you must have 3 bedrooms, but you look up and get 4 or 5, hey, that's a win-win situation for you.
Exactly.
If your must-have is at least 2 baths, and you'll take a bath and a half, and I get something with 2 baths, full baths, then that's a win situation. So I try to separate the must-haves, because once you're out looking for properties, you look at so many to where they all sometimes begin to look just the same.
Exactly.
Sometimes your must-haves may shift, but you want to make sure that you at least have a minimum of what you are looking for, because those must-haves keep you focused, so that you're not overtaken by the beauty of the property. You're not overtaken by the refrigerator that that opens up by itself or something.
Exactly.
You want to be focused on the things that this property must have. And I typically go over that during the initial consultation, because that helps to keep everything into perspective. Now, if those goals change as we go along, then we can adjust them together. But at least you do have a must-have minimum, and that's what keeps the search focused.
Exactly. We're talking with Shataa Whittle this evening, and in the final moments, I want to give individuals who have come in a little later behind this the opportunity to get in contact with you, especially about that very special deal. When you told me this morning, my eyes lit up, and I'm not really going to focus on having guests anymore for the month, but I knew I had to have you on because this doesn't happen every day. 660 on your credit score, $595 down, fixed a conventional mortgage with no PM.
Yeah.
Shataa, tell them how people can get in contact with you about that particular deal.
Yes, just give me a call. You can call me. I'm typically in the office from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And you can give me a call at 202-276-2295. Again, that's 202-276-2295.
Now,
And I'll be happy to speak with you more if you have any additional questions. And definitely, I'll be happy to forward you to the bank that is offering the incentive.
exactly. Now, there's a question in the chat room from our very, very good friend, Claudia Cheek, and she's asking, what's up with pre-approval? How do you go about getting a pre-approval?
Okay, that's a good question. Typically, the basic pre-approval where you would just simply speak with the lender. Some people may give a verbal application over the phone. It may take about 10 or 15 minutes. And based off of information you provided verbally, some lenders will give you an amount that they would be able to approve you for. Well, you also have the direct underwriting approval, which to me is a lot more stronger and positions you to be a lot stronger before the seller. Is a direct underwriting approval where you've actually submitted documentation to the lender and it has been reviewed and you now have what you call a firm commitment. So the firm commitments require documentation.
Exactly.
A pre-approval, some lenders, they'll take it over the phone application and take what you say verbally, which at a later date you'll have to provide the documentation. But the firm commitments I find to be a lot more stronger.
Yeah.
And when a seller is trying to actually make those decisions as to who or what's the strongest offer.
Now, a lot of people don't understand that the buying season, in reality, especially in urban America and Washington D.C. especially, is between May 15th and August 15th. That's the time period in which you're going to get the highest rates, well, not rates, forgive me, but highest prices in terms of home purchasing. So does it behoove someone maybe to wait those particular prices out, or does it matter? And one other quick question about geography. If I wanted to buy a home in Anacostia, does it go with the same level as someone in Eckington?
Well, the market itself, well, dealing with the first part of your question, which is the I'm sorry. I had a brain freeze moment there.
No problem. But the whole idea of, do I wait until after the buying season because people have pumped up the prices? Should I wait until September?
Right. Waiting.
Yeah.
Well, no, because every market is not as fast paced.
Yes.
So you may have you may be looking in an area where there are not multiple offers that are on the property.
Yeah. So
if you're looking within that area, then you'll be fine. So it all depends on where you're looking as to opposed to any how fast properties are on the market. We're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Where every house in DC, Maryland, Virginia is getting multiple offers. There's still isolated areas where you're finding yourself being having 6 or 7 offers.
Yes.
On one house, whereas another house may not.
So,
but it is trending in that direction. So if you are in the marketplace, I would just say to not get discouraged if you don't get the first house that you see that you like, and to just continue to wait with a little patience, so that until you can get the right property.
I agree
according
with you.
to your must-have.
I agree with you.
Don't just get anything. I'm working with a young lady right now. She's getting a little frustrated. But I told her just hold out. It's not a problem. I mean, it's common for the marketplace.
Yeah.
The price point where she's at is very competitive, where you have a lot of people within the same price point that are looking to purchase their home, their first home. So we just have to simply wait it out.
Exactly.
And so when that house hits the market, we'll be right out there looking at it. And that's basically it. So I would definitely say to anyone looking to purchase their first home to have a little patience, because you may not get the first one that you see, only because the marketplace is trending towards multiple offers on properties, especially in DC, definitely certain parts of Maryland as well as Virginia.
Now, I will tell you, Shataa, this is why I love you dearly. Not only as a friend, but also as a realtor. You're the person who sits down with someone and actually go through the processes of buying the home rather than put them out immediately, sign a contract, and get disappointed because you are unable to buy the home. You are the type of realtor that someone really needs in their life. And I want to encourage everyone and endorse you accordingly. How can people, sincerely, how can people get in contact with Shataa Whittle and help get the help that they need to actually buy their home?
Sure. Like I said, I'm typically available between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. So you can give me a call at any time. I'll be happy to take out the time to evaluate any questions or go over anything with you. For me, I love to be able to provide, to educate the consumer.
Yeah.
When I look back at the marketplace, a lot of the consumers weren't educated in a lot of decisions that were made. And for me, I love questions. I love for you to ask me questions. I love for every opportunity to educate you accordingly so that you can make the very best decision possible for you. That's important for me. I mean, as a consumer, that's how I operate. So that's simply the type of service that I give to my clients.
Indeed, you do. God bless you, Shataa. We'll be talking very soon. Thank you so much for coming on tonight to get everyone that lowdown. You can buy a home with a credit score of 660, and you could do it this weekend. Get in contact with Shataa Whittle, 202-276-2295. She is your local realty partner. You can find her on Facebook as well at DC Real Estate Agent, Maryland Realtor Shataa Whittle. But you can, I'll make sure you have all that information via our Facebook and Twitter and everything else. God bless you. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me, Ken. You have a great evening.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, good friend Shataa Whittle. We'll be back with Lonnie Poindexter right after this message. I'm Ken McClinton, chairman of the Exceptional Conservative Network. Never has the cry for economic liberty been more resounding in urban America than on Election Day 2016. It's the economy. All real change begins with the American entrepreneur. Socialism did not work. Progressivism stole the wealth of individuals and families. You voted for something different. Real change. But what does real change look and sound like? It looks like Las Vegas, and it sounds like Freedom Fest 10. Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, is the popular liberty-minded conference at the beautiful Paris Resort in Las Vegas from July 19th to the 22nd. Hear the voices of the urban freedom movement. Deneen Borelli, Larry Elder, Gina Lofton, Helen Riley, Juan Pablo Arande, and Zayed Abdelnour. Share ideas with powerful liberty movement figures like Steve Forbes, Jim Rogers, Anthony Scaramucci, Jennifer Grossman, Naomi Brockwell, Denise D'Souza, John Stossel, Lisa Kennedy, Peter Schiff, and our keynote speaker this year, William Shatner. Your money, your liberty, your freedom, your city. Come for the real and return with the change. Register now at Freedom Fest for $100 off the regular registration rate when you use the all caps code TECN. We'll see you there. Freedom Fest 10.
The best late night conservative talk show in America, TECN Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than TECN Sean and TECN Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, TECN Radio. The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming up in just a few, in fact, and we're going to 1 ringy dingy, 2 ringy dingy, 3 ringy dingy him. Let's hope the phone's working for Lonnie Poindexter this particular evening.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson.
Welcome to Lion Chasers, where faith and public policy intersect. And now, your Lion Chaser in the good fight of faith, Lonnie Poindexter on Urban Family Talk.
We're not saying that there's not instances where...
Good evening, Lonnie. Hang in with me.
This is America, and people are human, and there's sin in the world. He's a president of first. He's the first president to say that America is not a Christian nation any longer. But, you know, we'll pray for our enemies while we defeat them.
You can't blame folks for messing up the city. There has not been an elected Republican in council in Baltimore City in over 50 years.
In the co-captain's chair with me today, Reverend Ralph Chittams.
What's happened is the social justice movement has now been hijacked by a godless movement.
Don't be bamboozled. Ladies and gentlemen, Frederick Douglass was a gun-toting conservative. It's not a black or a white issue. It's a God versus anti-God issue. And I know those would say, well, it's all rigged. That's all a game, Lonnie. Because I get that a lot. And there are the crew that has their bags packed at the train station waiting for Jesus to come back. He'll be here in a minute. Oh, a train went by, another train. I don't know, it wasn't Jesus. But he's coming. Meanwhile, Rome is burning. The host of the Black Man Thinking radio show. Welcome to the show, Stanley Levy.
Good morning, Lonnie. How are you?
The core issue for bull elephants aren't in the home. We got to do away with the entitlement programs and the things that hamstring us.
And that's where the conservative viewpoints really resonate for my generation.
I want to welcome to the show the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, and that's my brother Kenneth McClinton. Welcome, brother.
Lonnie, it's an honor and privilege always to be with your ever-expanding audience.
Let your listeners be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. If Lion Chasers sounds right for your station or network, contact Will Addison by email, waddison@afa.net. Encourage your listeners to be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter and Urban Family Talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lonnie Poindexter in the hizzy. So glad to have you here tonight, sir.
How you doing, Mr. McClinton? Things in the beautiful world of the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Doing absolutely wonderful. Looking forward to tomorrow, Road to Majority. We'll be covering the 3 days there. Apparently, Donald Trump will be making his visitation sometime this week there. So I'm excited. And how are you doing in the wonderful land of Lion Chasers?
Well, just trying to keep my mosquito repellent because we do live here in the swamp.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Oh, my goodness. I want to talk with you tonight because although I believe with all of my heart and soul that the biggest story this particular evening was the Fast and Furious report, which deemed the Obama administration an obstruction of Congress, which would virtually mean that they were an obstruction of justice. There is a pseudo obstruction of justice matter that's going before us. Tomorrow, the whole world will be tuned to James Comey going before the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. And in fact, there are those who say that James Comey has just proven that Donald Trump has nothing to do whatsoever with Russia or anything else, but may not like him very much. Your thoughts there?
You know, I always suspected, and I know you have as well, that this is much ado about nothing. But, what it really does speak to is the enormous ego. You know, they talk about Donald J. Trump having a huge ego. James Comey's ego outside of Donald Trump, at least to the second in power. I mean, it's ridiculous how this guy seems to always end up in the center of everything, in the limelight. And, you know, here he is. He's not even in office anymore. He's been fired, but here he is, you know, speaking before a select committee. I know that those on the left side of the aisle are salivating at the potential of what this is going to be, but it's fairly obvious that it's not going to be anything at all, but just something that the news gets to talk about. And common sense folk will probably be off doing whatever they need to do, including cleaning out their the fingernails or contemplating their navel rather than paying much attention to this.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that is stated here, and this is even before getting into the testimony, the matter, is that on the first visit that James Comey had with Donald Trump, he says he immediately got into the back of his FBI vehicle, driven at taxpayer expense, of course, and began typing what had happened during that encounter. And when asked, had he ever kept such copious notes in meetings with former President Barack Obama, his answer was no. Is there not a bias in that type of process? And don't you want to see the same thing that he wrote?
Yeah, you would think the fact that he was appointed during the Obama administration, a glaring omission that all of a sudden now it's important to take copious notes. and don't they typically have people for that? I'm coming at that particular level. I don't see this guy typing anything. I see him having somebody transcribe whatever he's talking about. And it doesn't pass the smell test, but you and I both know that.
Exactly. And, you know, he said a few moments later, the president said, "I need loyalty. I expect loyalty." And I didn't move, speak, or change my facial expression in any way during the awkward silence that followed. We simply looked at each other in silence. The conversation then moved on, but he returned to the subject near the end of our dinner. That has been parlayed by Kamala Harris and others, Al Green, Congressman from Texas, as a outward threat against the, is he 6'6", 6'9", or whatever?
He's up there.
Yeah, he's.
Now, you said Al Green. I was thinking that you mean Al Green of Love and Happiness. But otherwise known as Al Grist, for those of us that remember some lady of his life tossed a hot pot of grist on him because he was upset because he would not marry her. But I digress.
See, we cover everything. We cover everything historically on this particular program. But how do you threaten a 6'9" FBI director? I don't know if he's 6'9", but he's up there. How do you threaten him? Is that a threat?
I don't see how. I mean, Donald Trump is fairly tall himself, but he has to look up to Comey. So
There was Al Green who came on the House floor yesterday and stated virtually that even if nothing shows up, he wants to impeach the president of the United States. And so I've got to ask you this, sir. Is this witch hunt? And that's all that we can call it at this point. I think this is a waste of taxpayers' dollars. But have we gotten to the point now where, I mean, this is just obscene? In your thoughts?
No, I think it is. It really speaks to the bigger issue that we know in November of last year, the brash New Yorker one shocked everybody, but a few people.
Mm-hmm.
But it really spoke to the American people be so sick and tired of politics as usual that they were willing to go with a dark horse who had the proclivity to do what was right if he's surrounded by godly counsel. And so that's what we have as elected president today. And he's had a few missteps here and there, but I say overall he's knocking the ball out of the park, at least on some of the core issues that are important to me. And I can forgive him for some of his missteps because, after all, he's not a politician. Folks are sick and tired of politicians. I've said this often. I'll say it again, bro. Folks would have voted for Mickey Mouse if Mickey Mouse had the ability to state that he would lower taxes, shore up the borders, bring common sense back to politics again, protect the rights of the unborn, and just do what any good person in America would do in terms of trying to right this ship called America. So these guys are throwing pots and pans, and they're acting a natural fool and screaming up and down over every half-truth and innuendo. Do you see the recent thing about Sessions supposedly resigning? And I got inbox from every liberal friend I know. What about that? What about that? I said, well, if you're sourcing MSNBC, it's probably a good indication that this is potentially fake news.
Now, I do want to go over one point, and this is the Holder matter, because I do believe that there is criminal authority here in this regard. Because remember that Eric Holder was held in contempt by Congress, although they didn't do anything about it.
Didn't do a thing.
But the Justice Department has, through an internal probe, determined that the investigation by the former Justice Department under Eric Holder was a sham, and it prioritized politics and spun over public safety. And I want to ask you and your Chairman Knights, is this something to go back on, or do we just hold this up in the history, the annals of time, as scorn for the egregious actions of Eric Holder?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's going to be the latter, but it's not what I would like to be done. I mean, they should have been brought up on charges during the Obama administration, but by the way, they were walking in lockstep with the Obama administration. You know, what we have here is, I had a meeting at HUD last week, and some of the things I'm hearing about what's going on over there is that there is still a legacy of Obama appointed, what I call Obama-ites, that are not only appointees or former appointees, were actually entrenched within the upper echelons of the organization. I think that's across all the government entities here in our nation's capital. It's going to take some time, man, to drain, to get these individuals up out of the swamp and drain up out of here. And so because of that, I'm not sure whether charges are going to be brought up on. I mean, because the Justice Department rolls with the previous administration, if portions of the different departments throughout the nation, be it HUD, be it the, and I'm not trying to beat up on the FBI here, but we've got to remember about appointees and so forth, and the judiciaries throughout the nation, it's going to take a while to weed all these individuals out. So he might end up getting a ghetto pass.
Yeah. Listen, how can people listen to your program Monday through Friday?
They can catch me Monday through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern, and that's on urbanfamilytalk.com. That's urbanfamilytalk.com. And the title of the show is Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. And the show is about the intersection between faith and public policy.
Well, God bless you, sir. You do a wonderful job, tremendous job. And I thank you for being a friend and a stalwart of patriotism in America.
Hey, brother, just want to be like you when I grow up.
Likewise. All right, bro. I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Lonnie Poindexter this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll come up in the second hour with none other than the great Ralph J. Chittams Sr., better known as the Kraken. And we'll close out the evening show with Shannon Wright. But I just want to let you know that, I skipped a break. So I'll add it on the back end. But what I will say to you tonight is that the story out of the committee that had oversight on this matter. It was the Senate Judiciary Committee and the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee working on this particular case. 250-page document chronicling the politicization of Fast and Furious and the unlimited egregious behaviors of Eric Holder and the Department of Justice, and we would presume that that was approved of by President Barack Obama, former president. The reason why this is the most egregious of the two things that we'll be dealing with is because a man died. As far as we know, the only thing that died during the writing of that note by Comey is pen, ink, and paper. We'll be right back with the second half of the Exceptional Conservative Show right after these messages.
So what do you think about ebooks? Maybe you've never read an ebook before, but you're considering giving it a try. Or maybe you've been reluctant to try ebooks because you don't want to buy another expensive electronic device. Or maybe you already enjoy ebooks, but you haven't been able to find titles from your favorite Christian authors. Whatever your situation, ChristianBook.com has the solution. Your trusted source for print books for over 30 years now offers ebooks. Our always free CBD reader allows you to read on the devices you already own without spending money on a new device. Thousands of Christian ebooks at ChristianBook.com means you can shop with confidence and choose from the titles you want. Plus, we are adding new titles all the time. Browse our huge selection of low-priced Christian ebooks the same way you would printed books, only now you can go from shopping to reading in seconds. Simply select the ebook you wish to purchase, confirm your account information, and start reading. Free samples of every ebook are available, so you can preview the book first, before you buy it. Plus, there's no lengthy app downloads and updates. Accessing the CBD Reader is as easy as going to cbdreader.christianbook.com and bookmarking the page. The CBD Reader holds your ebooks and bookmarks for you, no matter what device you're on. So, you can take your entire ebook library wherever you go and pick up right where you left off. Our customizable options make it possible to read your ebooks in different font sizes and styles. Want a large print version? You've got it in seconds with a simple click of the mouse. Already own a dedicated e-reader? Download your ebooks to your computer from your ChristianBook.com account and transfer them to your device. Try ebooks at ChristianBook.com and start reading your favorite books in seconds. Easy, economical, everywhere you want to read. Welcome to ChristianBook.com ebooks.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy, because the truth is not always pleasant.
Our amazing hosts at the Exceptional Conservative Network broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, sometimes they get lonely. Be the solution for HLS. Host loneliness syndrome. Join us for advice, delightful conversation, and debate in the world's best forum, the Euro Pacific Bank TECN chat room. Go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com right now. Join us in chat by clicking on the TECS tab, Bible study tab, or TECN tabs. The host you'll save makes TECN amazing. We'll be back after these messages.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Hello, this is Leslie Ann Stoffel with The Real Clear Israel. Join me every Sunday morning at 10:05 Eastern Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network, where we'll be discussing Israel with guests from Israel and around the world.
That's The Real Clear Israel, 10:05 Sunday on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Begin your mornings the right way with some right thinking from me, Perry Drake, your friendly neighborhood drive-by pundit. I want you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Central Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. From politics to pop culture to relationships to whatever else is on your mind, we have a great deal to talk about. Join in and let's get the talking started.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Program live from the nation's capital. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then to the socialist. Mary Brockman, my bouncer in chief, is in the hizzy, and she has brought a friend with her from Blog Talk Radio. Larry, it's a great pleasure to have you here in our chat room tonight. Ralph J. Chittams is there as well, Melanie Collette, and as well the lovely Claudia Cheek. Lonnie Poindexter has joined us as well in that particular chat room. You can join us at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com by going into the TECS tab and scrolling down and getting into the chat room. All you need to do is actually click in where it says type a message, and you can start your conversation with us immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so many things that are going on around our particular country at this time period, but there is something that's going on at least beginning tomorrow. It's happening now there, but beginning tomorrow for us on Thursday, the election and the wonderful country of Great Britain, coming on the heels of two very egregious ISIS attacks. I know they call them lone wolf and things of that particular nature, but the truth of the matter is, you don't get lone wolf when all of these things are calculated in the way that they are. And so, and this is why I love greatly Kel Fritz and what she does with RFB, and as well EDL, in which our great friend, the Unpleasant Blind Guy, Dave Milner, is a part of. They are carrying the torch of liberty and freedom for a lot of people who can't see it because they're blinded by political correctness. They're blinded by the false ideology of Mohammedanism, affirming it as a religion of peace when apparently there is no other religion that's as actively terroristic as that particular religion, although it's more like a political cult than anything else, in the likeness of LGBTQism. But not probably as radical yet. Although they do share the same compulsions of wanting to be the actual tyrannical, oppressive body that destroys the conservative movement. I just want to say to the great people of Great Britain who are listening to us tonight that I am praying that while Theresa May is not Margaret Thatcher, she is closer to Margaret Thatcher than Larry Corbyn. And that I hope, with all hopes, as you have listened to us on Tuesday nights with Janice Hall, the J Hall World Report. I hope of all hopes that your vote is for Theresa May. And I hope that you all go beyond the mayor of London in terms of the concept of appreciable terrorism, being accepting of that being a part of our daily lives. Now, what happens in Israel is a part of their daily lives, but it's not something that we should export from the Middle East nor import to our own borders. And literally, when we have individuals who have agreed and believed that there is nothing we can do but wait, you have already lost the war. I hope that you vote for people, conservatives, into office that will radically take a look at protecting Great Britain without destroying the freedom of speech. And some of the things that I've heard recently likened onto Theresa May stating that she would take control over the internet through governmental actions with the change of law concern me. While that might be apropos for you in Great Britain because you don't have a freedom of speech, you have a freedom of expression, I don't think that that is the closest thing that you can do to purport liberty or freedom. While the choice of Theresa May is an obvious one, I think a greater choice for you over the next 6 to 10 years would be finding individuals that you could put in the House, in the Parliament, that share and affirm the values of Great Britain holistically and wish to eradicate no-go zones and other things that separate them from the heritage of your great nation. So, ladies and gentlemen, first thing you need to do is Theresa May and all the conservatives that you can find, and then you need to begin, in my opinion, tossing out as many Mohammedans who like to fly to Syria for vacation as possible. I'm just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up right now is none other than Ralph J. Chittams Sr. You can hear him on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 8:05 p.m. on SHR Media. Let's get that man in here right now. We know him as the Kraken, and we shall release the Kraken.
Forwarded to an automatic.
All right, we will attempt to call him again. So release the Kraken. I will release the Kraken. All right. Here we go. Let's try that one more time. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Exceptional.
Kraken, it's a great pleasure to have you on the air with us tonight. So good to have you. And Larry, let me just say this to Larry Dolney. I am so sorry that you are experiencing so many difficulties tonight with our Ustream. It's not as good as SHR TV. It's not as great as SHR Media. If you listen to those, you will probably get a better sound. And hopefully someday when we do transition to internet TV, you'll get a clear course viewing as well as audio. So glad to have you here tonight, sir. Tell me this. Are you at all displeased that those who are a part of the left will go to bed tomorrow knowing that Comey threw them under the bus?
No, I will have absolutely no joy or satisfaction in this at all. What they have succeeded in doing is creating an environment which this President Donald John Trump, is going to be investigated for every day of his presidency for the next 8 years. It doesn't matter. They are going to always find something to try to investigate this guy so that the idiots over at the CBC can stand up and pontificate and talk about impeachment.
Listen, there are those who believe tonight that even though Comey has put out this great presentation of what he's going to say tomorrow, that he was forced to do that. that he was threatened. Is that absolutely the thought that you might have, that James Comey, 6'8", and thank you for that information here, 6'8" James Comey was threatened by mafia boss Donald J. Trump?
No, the only threat to James Comey came from James Comey. Because if he testifies before this committee tomorrow and states anything contrary to what he testified to under oath before the previous committee, James Comey will be going to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. So the only threat to James Comey came from James Comey's previous testimony.
Which James Comey is showing up tomorrow?
I don't give a damn.
All right.
I couldn't care less.
This
is a dog and pony show.
Yep.
The Democrats really don't care about what's important in this country. They don't want to talk about the fact that there were 7 subpoenas issued by this subcommittee, 4 of them dealing with President Donald Trump, 3 of them dealing with the illegal unmasking of American citizens, and the mainstream media and the Democrats and the progressives and the leftists in this country haven't said a mumbling word about those 3 subpoenas. All they want to talk about is being stuck on stupid and Russia, Russia, Russia.
There you go. Nothing to it. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no thing to watch at this particular moment or listen to tomorrow. If you want to, you can waste your time, but I wouldn't recommend it highly. Want to talk with you very quickly before we go to the break about the committee releasing Fast and Furious report and the obstruction of Congress by the Department of Justice. And I think, in my personal opinion, that this is the most egregious thing that I'm listening to all day long.
And another issue that the left and their cohorts in the media are totally ignoring. You're talking about obstruction of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
This is a program that put weapons in the hands of known Mexican drug cartel killers, murderers, mercenaries, and this program was the direct cause of the death of American citizens.
Mm-hmm.
This was done by our Justice Department with the consent of President Obama, and they don't want to discuss the fact that this boondoggle killed Americans.
Exactly.
And then they obstructed the congressional investigation. Eric Holder at the Justice Department. He needs to be in the next cell next to Comey if Comey testifies to anything different tomorrow than what he said 2 months ago.
Exactly. And one of the things he stated against the whistleblower who came forward on this particular case, when asked by those in the Department of Justice to do something or what to do with the whistleblower, he said, hit back hard, go after the guy. Now this is not this is not the thing that we heard from the White House during that entire period of time in which all this was going on, but they did everything they could to destroy that man's life. In finality, before we go to break, your thoughts, what should we do from here?
Well, first, the United States is a nation of laws. If you break a law, you need to pay the price for it. And I don't care if you are a prince or a pauper. But I said years ago that Fast and Furious was Barack Obama's Iran-Contra.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody wanted to listen to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nobody wanted to. And now the proof is in the pudding. These guys were running guns into South America. And when it was done under a Republican administration, these Democrats, were apoplectic about it. But when their Messiah does it, all of a sudden everything is fine and dandy.
Bingo. hit it right on the mark, right out of the park. We are talking with the Kraken this evening, Ralph J. Chittams Sr. So glad to have him here tonight. We will be right back after this particular break.
You're listening to the most influential urban conservative talk show in the entire world. The Exceptional Conservative Show at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. Number one on SHR, number one on TECN. We'll be back right after these messages.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We have a brand new show on at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We are bound to make you think. We are bound to make you see things differently. We are bound to push you into action for not only your community, but your country. That's The Willie Lawson Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. See you there.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. We have in the hizzy this particular evening the Kraken himself, Ralph J. Chittams Sr., can be heard on TECN and SHR on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday nights at 8:05 p.m. Listen, I wanted to ask you, because I know you don't talk about race that much. You don't talk about color and stuff like that. And you probably have no...
Only when it's necessary.
Only when it's necessary. And I know you have absolutely no opinion on it. But apparently, it has come out that Hillary Rodham Clinton, during the time period that she was First Lady of Arkansas, had no problems with using black prisoners to do her biddings and tidings, and she kept them under quite a close clamp, per se. I wanted to ask you, sir, it's first and foremost, why are people now upset about this? And then secondly, does it really matter?
They're upset. Well, first things first, people aren't really upset about this now. It's just being talked about now. But the liberals on the left, they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Let's understand that. They really don't care. Is this an important issue? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because here you have a woman who now who has a history of talking about, black men being predators and needing
Mm-hmm.
to be brought to heel,
Mm-hmm.
and the three strikes you're out under her husband, which incarcerated God knows how many, thousands, hundreds of thousands of, black men. And now you have her participating in modern American slavery.
Well, she wants
to take prisoners out of a prison, and you work them, and you don't pay them.
No, wait a minute now. She says that these things were forced upon her as First Lady. She didn't choose these things, and she saw it as a benefact, as a way of helping these poor men who were going to lose their lives on death row, an opportunity to give back to them. Can't you accept that as goodwill?
Yeah, and all those Africans who were brought to America to be enslaved, that was for their benefit also.
Exactly. Definitely for their particular benefit. Want to ask you real quick also, as we go to Washington, D.C., apparently the governor of Washington, D.C. is Muriel Bowser. At least this is the way that the city council would like for you to address her in the future. Your thoughts on Muriel Bowser, governor of the District of Columbia?
Well, first things first, this is an idea floated by
one of the craziest leftists on the council, Grasso. And, his idea is, if we start treating and referring to district officials by state titles, then people will become more comfortable with using those titles, and it will make statehood for the District of Columbia that much easier. Here is what I have to say to David Grasso. If you give me a zebra and I paint all the white stripes on the zebra black, that still doesn't make that zebra a damn horse.
No.
They will continue to be council members. She will continue to be the mayor. See, this is more of that. Well, what is it now? Is Muriel Bowser now going to be a trans governor? and Grasso and them, are they going to become trans legislators? Because they're not really, but that's how they feel on the inside. And so we're supposed to buy into their insanity and their trans issues now. Hey, give me a break.
Well, shouldn't we elevate then the ANC leaders to be House of Representatives?
Well, look, we've had this conversation before, and if I had my way, and if this, the way I would structure DC is I would make the current council, the upper chamber, a Senate.
Mm-hmm.
I would reduce the number to 9.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then I would make the current ANCs, the lower chamber, our House of Representatives. That's what I would do. And that way, the people who actually manage the money, the lower house, the House, are the ones closest to the people. And they would be the ones that would have the pulse on what the people in the district want. So if I were going to do it, I would restructure the council and make it a bicameral legislature, reduce the number of current council members, and make the ANCs the House of Representatives.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And that still would not necessitate making DC a state. It would just be changing the legislative structure, honestly, I think, to make it more functional.
Now, a lot of Americans don't know that the District of Columbia spends at least $500,000 a year trying to convince the 50 states to make it the 51st state. And that hasn't been successful since its origins back in the 1980s. But somehow Grosso believes that if we begin calling people or at least recognizing them at the level in which they are to be recognized, because we have a state education office, right? Why not a governor? And I suppose we would have 4 independent mayors, one of Southeast, one of Northeast, Northwest, and Southwest. Wouldn't that make sense?
Oh, sure. Anytime you can put more people on the government dole, why not create more? Let's create more government employees. So what's going to happen now? So now Mayor Bowser becomes the trans governor. So now if I don't refer to her as governor, now I'm going to be sued because it's a hate crime.
It's a hate crime.
Yeah, if I don't call the trans legislators count, if I don't refer to Grasso as, Congressman Grasso.
Well, he would be a senator.
Recognizing his, well, whatever. So, if I don't refer to him as senator, is now that going to be a hate crime?
That's a hate crime.
I'm not recognizing his trans issues.
And if we don't call the ANCs the House of Lords, that's a hate crime. You can see it. It's happening.
No. But you have to understand the powers that be, the mayor,
mm-hmm.
the council members, the chair of the council, they don't want to elevate the ANCs into a legislative body. And in fact, it was written into the Home Rule Charter of the District of Columbia to prevent that from ever happening, because they did not want the people to have real control over what happens in the district. So in order to pull this off, it would require a rewriting of the Home Rule Charter.
Ooh, now that would be kind of like opening up a constitutional convention now, wouldn't it?
It would be opening up all kinds of cans of worms.
Now, do you really believe that Jason Chaffetz and the rest of the House Oversight Committee for the District of Columbia would go along with the idea of calling her governor? Although she does have rights to speak upon the House floor, right?
Well, but here's the thing. She can call herself a Martian, and Congress has absolutely nothing to do with it because it's just a title. As long as the functioning of the government doesn't change, they would have no say-so if she decided to call herself, king of the world.
Exactly.
So that's why this whole concept of, we now have a Governor Bowser. Okay, so what's different between today and yesterday? Absolutely nothing. I just have a better title. Okay, just go lay on the couch and talk to a shrink because you seriously have a problem.
You have a better title. They don't call me mayor anymore. I'm governor. Listen, speaking of a governor out in Missouri, who was fighting the good fight of the conservative of the movement, he was overturned yesterday by the Kansas legislature. Apparently, he wanted to keep cutting taxes, and the Republicans who have come to office have decided to thwart his efforts. Governor Stormback is the governor from Missouri, and his Republican cohorts have come against him. Now, there are those who say that this is exactly what should take place here in Washington, D.C. Your thoughts? Is this the new Republican Party, raise taxes and spend money?
What do you mean by new? Do you remember the phrase "read my lips"?
There you go.
No new taxes.
No new taxes. Exactly.
But regarding this story, see, I'm one of the few people. There are a lot of us. Most of us just keep our heads down when it comes to this issue. I've never been an advocate of supply side economics.
Really?
Never.
Never?
No. And I will tell you why.
Okay.
Because if I have $100 in my pocket and I want to buy bubble gum with my $100, and the only thing in the store is chocolate candy, but I want bubble gum, I'm not going to buy the chocolate simply because it's there. And that's the premise on the supply side economics. People will spend money on what is there regardless of whether they want it or need it. That's stupid.
No,
and I don't think
that's not the key.
Most people don't operate that way.
That's not the key.
I'm not going to spend my money on something I don't want. And supply side says we're going to make what it is that we want, and the American people are going to buy it because they'll have no choice because that's all that's there. Wrong.
Well, the supply side economics, at least according to the Laffer curve, is to reduce the overall tax structure, remove the regulatory burden so that you, the American person, would be more free to use your own money, and the government will be less attuned to taking your money from you, confiscating it, and using it for its own purposes.
We're talking about two different. We're talking about two different aspects of supply side economics.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
what you're saying is true on that side of supply side economics.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is the production side of supply side economics, which is absolute foolishness. Now, I agree with your side.
Thank you.
That aspect of supply side economics, I'll go along with.
Excellent.
But the other side of supply side economics makes it completely unworkable.
Exactly. And when we have government on the demand portion of it that constantly regulates and takes away your freedoms, there is no way. Because one of the things that I didn't have a chance to talk with everyone about tonight, and I do want to talk with them, is about the repeal of Dodd-Frank. And they're in the process right now of removing one of the regulations from Dodd-Frank that prevents community banks and institutions to lend money equally and as successfully as corporate banks. because the Treasury Department determined that the corporate banks are too big to fail. And too much of that is going on in our economy right now, where the winners and losers are being chosen by our government rather than by the consumer. Your thoughts?
It is not the government's role to pick and choose winners.
Mm-hmm.
The only time the government has anything to do with picking winners and losers is when there's a declaration of war and we go out and kick somebody's butt.
But wait a minute, we ain't even doing that. I mean, we should be blowing away ISIS. We should be killing ISIS. I mean, as much stuff as we got, we should be blowing away ISIS. There shouldn't be anyone in.
And we should, but right now,
mm-hmm.
the United States of America, and this is a broad generalization because it doesn't apply to everyone.
Yeah.
We don't have the stomach to do what needs to be done to kill this enemy.
Thank you. I agree with you.
We don't have the stomach for it. We need to, the first thing we need to do is take all the reporters and tell them you're no longer embedded with our military units. Get out, go back to Washington, D.C., or whatever the heck it is you came from. And once the reporters are gone, people need to understand that in the theater of war, there are things that happen that are vile, nasty, disgusting, that violate every code of human conduct. And right now we're fighting an enemy that doesn't fight by any conventional rules. And here we are standing in the middle of the ring with our hands up like we want to fight by the Queensberry rules and the Geneva Convention. And we have an enemy that doesn't care about any of that. No, we need to, like I said, take the reporters out and understand when you fight this enemy, there is no such thing as collateral damage.
Thank you.
We need to go old school wrath of God. You know, where God told the children of Israel, go in, kill the husbands, kill the wives, kill the kids, kill the goats, kill the sheep, kill everything.
I love that phrase.
There will not be remembrance on the face of the earth.
You know,
that's how you defeat this enemy.
I agree with you, Ralph. If you're going to do this, I like the term for the Bible, utterly destroy your enemy. Otherwise, they will be left around to pursue you once more. But along those particular lines, I want to ask you tonight, do you feel that Great Britain has the will to fight the terrorists? And why do we not have collateral damage when they kill?
Well, first things first, you have, even though this Sadiq Khan guy is, was born in London, clearly his heart is in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Because he believes that terrorist attacks are part and parcel now of living in any urban area in the world. Mm-hmm. And so he takes terrorist attacks now as being as normal as waiting for a bus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I will never accept that, period.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says that we don't have the resources to track 400 terrorists. Yeah, you do. Mm-hmm. It's just called reallocation and redistribution of your assets.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also what was just shown to us is the failure of the European Union. Because one of the guys involved in this attack was on the radar of the Italian government.
Mm-hmm.
But that information was never communicated through proper channels through the EU so that it was shared with the other member nations. So when he moved or migrated or just visited from Italy to the UK had no idea that they had brought in an Italian terrorist.
Yeah.
See, and this is something that no one is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw a major flaw in the security apparatus of the European Union.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame the UK for the Brexit, because now they can go unilaterally with more extreme vetting to make sure of who's coming in their country. And that's why I have no problem with President Trump's temporary travel ban, temporary travel restriction. I don't care what you call it. I just hope the Supreme Court, those justices, do what they're supposed to do, interpret the law based upon the constitutional authority of the President of the United States, and they should uphold his travel ban, his travel restriction 9-0.
It's a shame that a term ban is a quixotic term, one in which people say is a very naughty and bad thing. And the truth of the matter is that all immigration is based on bans. The limit of people coming in, the limit of people going out. That's just the way it works. How can people listen to you, sir, on your wonderful program on TECN SHR?
I'm on, like you said, Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays from 8:05 to 9 p.m. I'm the Wright guy with Ralph J. Chittams Sr. And if you want to know the foundation of my personal philosophy, it comes from how I introduce myself every night. I say that I am human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. And if you understand what those four statements mean, you will understand why I say and do the things that I do.
You do wonderfully well. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Always a pleasure. God bless.
God bless. The Kraken. We got to put him back. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with Shannon Wright in the next few. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. We shall return.
Radio, and listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, Sackhead Radio.
you.
The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen. It's time to celebrate, ladies and gentlemen. Ken McClinton and the Exceptional Conservative Show celebrate 7 years of excellence in broadcasting here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. 9:05 p.m. Monday through Thursday, the finest in conservative talk anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to celebrate.
My name is Christopher Arnold. I'm the executive chef of Infused Restaurant, and today I'm gonna walk you through some of the meals that we prepare here. So we're making a pizza. We use fresh Italian sausage that they cook here and spice it up. Our pizza dough is in-house made. Our pizza sauce is in-house made. So everything is fresh and ingredients. This is our Thai curry chicken. The sauce is made with coconut milk and the Thai red curry. It is juicy chicken thighs as well as some mixed vegetables, served with jasmine rice and pita bread. So now we're going to prepare our and grits on the menu. Fish is ready, and our meal will be complete. Let me tell you about our infused beef burgers. When we kick the spice up just a little bit with our infused sauce. We start off with 80-20 USDA round chuck ham patty burgers, like half a pound of burgers, and we're gonna grill it to perfection. After I flipped the burger, we add the sauce and let it cook on into the meat just a little bit. We're gonna add a little bit of pepper jack cheese to this burger to spice it up a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland is the place to be. 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland is the place to be. I am telling you, you need to go there this weekend. You can do it for brunch. You can do it for lunch. You can do it for dinner. But you have to do it. Great food, great friendships, great atmosphere. A great time had by all. 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland. Make it your place to be. Mary Brockman, my bouncer-in-chief, asked me in the chat room, Ken, have you heard from the professor? Yes, Mary, I have heard from the professor. He is doing okay, doing well. I hope this particular evening, had not spoken with him today, celebrated over the weekend his birthday with his new fam. And his hopes are to return to us on Thursday night, tomorrow night. Our hope is that he would. And we look forward to him being on New Day Black and Red tomorrow night. Ralph J. Chittams says, I'm checking out also. I'm doing Bowtie Man's show tomorrow morning. If you have the TV One cable channel, News One now airs at 8:05 a.m. Eastern Time. God bless you, sir. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up at 11 p.m. Eastern Time is none other than the great Sackheads Radio, Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin will also be in attendance for that particular event. Make sure that you make your way there tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I still believe it is one of the greatest late night conservative talk shows in America. Want to say this to you all tonight. Shannon Wright is going to be with us in just a moment. Let me get Shannon on the phone. The phone is he? I believe she had an event yesterday up in Bmore. I hope that we can talk with her about that event. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. Good evening, Pastor Wright. It's a great privilege and honor to have you on the program this evening.
Good evening, and how are you?
Just fine indeed. Listen, I heard that you had a big event yesterday.
We actually ended up postponing it, pushing it back a week.
Okay, okay, good. Until you tell us what that event will be about rather than what it was about.
Sure. It is going to be an online forum on the title is Freddie Gray's Baltimore 2 years later.
Mm-hmm. Now, for
and it's really just a quick thing to kind of talk about where Baltimore was, is, and should be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, we all had some knowledge of Mr. Gray, a gentleman who died. Some presume that it's from the effects of a drive hostile drive by police officers. It was later chagrined upon, and people saw it as not that, but the city settled $6 million to the Gray family, and it became a national issue because of the rioting of Baltimore and the promises that those 6 police officers that were involved would be placed in prison. Now, the former Attorney General, I believe she's former, is
nope, she's not.
She's not still there kicking. Oh my goodness, it just won't go. The current Attorney General is up under charges of being too malicious. And you have the federal government that has entered into an agreement to police, along with the state of Maryland, Baltimore City. How have things really changed in Baltimore since the riots and everything else?
The homicide rate's gone up.
Wow. Wow. Okay. We were looking for that. We're building new homes. We're tearing. Yeah. No, not none of that. Okay. But I've got news today that Baltimore owns a hotel, so I know that y'all are making money with the hotel, right?
If you ask that, obviously you already read the article and know the answer. No. It was an ill-advised move that has not really made the city any money.
Okay.
And now they're in a position where they're in need of trying to refinance the debt. I mean, I'm sure Baltimore's not the only one, but cities are not in the business of owning luxury hotels.
Exactly.
So for city folk that can't seem to run the city to decide to run an entity like that, it just seems a little odd to me. And clearly, it's not going the way they anticipated because they're not making any money.
Wow. Now, who pays for that? I mean, does that come out of the city budget?
You've already posed and answered that one, so yeah, I'll just say yeah. You are very good at leading questions and answers, so
thank you.
I'll try and help you out a little bit there. The city owns this hotel that is not serving a profit. It is operating at a loss, and when that happens, the city usually requires where all of its funds come from to, go in there and get more money and restructure and do all of those things. The problem is when it's the city that has a losing venture, it's the people, the residents, that end up paying for it, literally and figuratively. So that's kind of where that's at, which is why there's such a aggressive push to be able to refinance that debt.
Exactly. I would have worked out a deal with the Ravens or something to make certain that all their fans or whatever stayed at the hotel. Something. I mean, to make some money. I mean, goodness gracious. Now, Kathy Pugh is the mayor of Baltimore. She has a very high murder rate now. She has a city that is in the red. And I don't mean because they're wearing roses. Literally a hotel chain, or at least a luxury hotel that's below expectations in terms of producing any revenue for the city. What is the reaction to Ms. Pugh and the rest of the city council? Are people dissatisfied with their efforts, or is it more of the same?
I think everybody's sweet. I don't know.
Really? Gosh.
You don't hear the rumblings that you should. You don't hear the displeasure that you should. I mean, people, quote, elected something new and got the same thing, and I think they're sweet.
I tell you what, they're not sleep on. It's your show. You and Mike in the morning at 7 a.m. And you all have crossed over 10,000 listens on SHR Media. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
Well beyond any expectations. You are exceeding those, and congratulations to you both. Why are Baltimoreans waking up to you on the air, but not waking up to the city in terms of what the issues are?
Well, that's a good question. And I don't think it's that they're not seeing and waking up to what the city is doing. I think that those that are listening to us are awake.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But this is a city of over 600,000 people.
Mm.
So our goal is to reach some higher numbers, but it's going to be a minute before we get to 600,000.
It might not, based on the numbers I've seen, maybe not. But indeed, it takes a little while to get to everybody and for everybody to come to an agreement. But by the fact that this is not how you run a city, this is not the way God wants a city to operate. And certainly, nothing's more disparaging for the American populace to hear than the fact that after all of the rioting that took place in Baltimore, all the stuff that went on because of the angst towards the police, that you still have a very high murder rate. If not, thank God it's not 90 degrees. I'm just saying.
You know, it's very concerning the fact that we are in June now.
Yeah.
You know, we're going into summer, and we all know that that's the time of year when things get really, really, really special. And it's a little bit, you know, it's sad because there have been so many stories recently in the news about. There was one particular one where two families were on the eve of graduation, were preparing for how they were going to celebrate their graduate, and on the eve of graduation, those two young men got shot and killed.
Oh, jeez.
The night before their graduation, one had been already accepted to college, and he was going to be leaving shortly, and now they're not celebrating graduation.
The hope of Baltimore is Shannon and Michael Wright. You will hear them at 7:05 every morning, Monday through Thursday, tomorrow morning, before they go on before Shannon goes on the set of Bowtie Man show on Fridays. Mr. Ascot Man.
Wow.
How can they listen to your program, ma'am?
Right here on this very station that they are listening to you on. If they were to come onto that website and go to TECN AM, they would find us there, bright-eyed and ready to go.
Right.
Except it occurs to me that when one hits, a good number and one gets Hawaiian coffee, and then when one hits 5,000, they get a Hess truck. What does indeed one get at 10,000? To ponder that.
And we gotta go to commercial. Thank you so much for coming. Shannon Wright, we love you. God bless you. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta love her.
I'm Kevin Clinton, chairman of the Exceptional Conservative Network. Never has the cry for economic liberty been more resounding in urban America than on Election Day 2016. It's the economy. All real change begins with the American entrepreneur. Socialism did not work. Progressivism stole the wealth of individuals and families. You voted for something different, real change. But what does real change look and sound like? It looks like Las Vegas, and it sounds like Freedom Fest 10. Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, is the popular Liberty-Minded Conference at the beautiful Paris Resort in Las Vegas from July 19th to the 22nd. Hear the voices of the urban freedom movement: Denise Borelli, Larry Elder, Gina Lofton, Helen Riley, Ramesh Wadhwa, and Zayad Abdul-Nawab. Share ideas with powerful, liberty-minded figures like Steve Forbes, Jim Rogers, Lee Edwards, David Boaz, Doug Casey, Dinesh D'Souza, John Stossel, Lisa Kennedy, Peter Schiff, and keynote speaker William Shatner. Your money, your liberty, your freedom, your city. Come for the real and return with the change. Register now at freedomfest.com. That's freedomfest.com for $100 off the regular registration rate when you use the all caps code TECN. We'll see you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. What a wonderful evening this has been. I think we touched on a lot of subjects here tonight, as we do every Wednesday night. I want to thank all of you all who have been in the chat room with us. Mary Brockman, my bouncer in chief, thank you so much for bringing Larry over. Larry, thank you so much for adhering to the bid of Mary Brockman. Larry Dolney, thank you so much for being here. Claudia Cheek, I always love you. So glad to have you also here in the chat room, and all the others who have been here and have stayed. I just want to say to you all that coming up in 1 minute is the best late night conservative talk show in America. It is Sackheads Radio with Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, and Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. Make certain that you tune them in. You can go there to SHR Media at shrmedia.com. And I do want to say this last thing to you. Remember this always. God bless America. It is time now for America to bless God. Good night and God bless.